Welcome to Uncommon Minds, where we sit down with truly amazing innovators and unique practitioners across common fields who think outside the box and carve their own paths to success. I'm your host, Shelly Henriquez-Neill. Let's lean into another great episode right now. I've never met someone who, as a child, they didn't draw or they didn't have crayons or chalk or pencils or coloring books or pages. Even as a child growing up in Jamaica, when some of these things were small luxuries for me, a good white stone on concrete would do the trick. Pablo Picasso once said, "Every child is an artist." And the problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. Today, our guest on Uncommon Minds is someone who managed to do exactly that and whose passion over the past 15 years has turned into a successful career with clients such as the New York Times, Adobe, Hewlett-Packard, the Lancet Medical Journal, and wonderfully unique children's projects that celebrate inclusion and positive images of influential queer and BIPOC history makers like Think Like Marsha and Willis Watson is a Wannabe. If you haven't seen those, you need to check them out. And if you have little ones in the family, these are must-have publications. Please welcome illustrator and creative visionary Cheryl Thuesday. We are so excited to have you as a guest on Uncommon Minds. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
First podcast.
Hey, we can always celebrate that, right? We can always celebrate that.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about your origin story.
Okay.
Right? Is there a moment or a story that you can remember that was really iconic and you note it as the first time you knew you wanted to draw for a living?
Yeah, absolutely. I was introduced to art by my father. My
Oh.
father's a cabinet maker, furniture craftsman, and an exceptional carver.
Oh my goodness.
His work was all over our house.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this one image that sticks in my mind. He had a piece of wood that he drew a bird on a branch with leaves. He actually cut the wood into a way that it was a picture frame. And then within the wood, he carved out the bird and the leaves and the branch, and it protruded out of this particular art piece.
Oh my goodness.
I was so fascinated, and I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But I was intimidated. So I carved out my own path in art by drawing. And that was my first introduction to art.
Love that. Oh my goodness. That is such a beautiful story. What an amazing piece. Did your father know this story? I'm just curious.
He doesn't.
Oh my goodness. Well, he's going to see this podcast and he's going to be like, what? Right?
Right.
So who would you say, I mean, obviously your father was definitely one, but who would you say were some of what were your earliest childhood influences?
I would have to say Jacob Lauren. He is an artist from, I believe, the 40s. And he uses a lot of images in which he exaggerates the human form, to tell his story. And I was introduced to him actually from my professor, Gary.
Okay.
He actually was the one that taught me it was okay to exaggerate the form of the human parts.
Interesting.
Because when I first started doing figure drawing, I was horrible at it. Absolutely horrible. I could do faces, I can do expressions, but ask me to draw a hand or an arm, I just had a whole bunch of issues doing that.
Yeah.
He was the one that came to me and said, look at the human form as a collection of shapes. And that just changed everything for me.
Wow.
It changed everything. And from there, I was able to create these drawings using shapes. So ultimately, he was the first one to actually give me my first valuable lesson which is master the rules
Mhm.
and then learn how to break them.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. That's incredible. It really sort of speaks to the journey of being the student
Mhm.
as much as you can. I mean, you're forever a student,
Right.
right? But then when you get to a certain point, you can actually refine, or you can color outside the box or outside the
Right.
lines,
Right.
right?
And he ultimately said that, like, learn how to do this right,
Mhm,
and then you
mhm.
can do what you want with it,
Yeah, that's fantastic.
you know? And I think that's how you become an artist,
It is,
you know?
and I think your personal background definitely shapes, I would think, a lot and influences a lot of your work. So how does your personal background shape your artistic style?
Well, my family is from Jamaica and China,
Okay.
and tropical
Mhm, mhm,
colors is something that actually I use as a language within my artwork.
mhm.
I believe it is the language of emotion and storytelling. So I think the colors from tropical, from Jamaica, it's
Yeah,
everything's so
yeah,
colorful, vibrant,
yeah,
and I want to use that in my artwork. Using vibrant palettes is a way to tell the story,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I love, that you talk about never forgetting where you're from,
Right,
right? I mean, obviously, we're at this time of this recording, we're not that far from October 28th, which was a very critical and pivotal time in Jamaican history.
right.
It's recent history now, but the impact is far-reaching
Yeah,
in terms of the hurricane and its impact, and it'll be interesting to see how that shapes
right.
your art to come. But let's shift a little bit and talk about the tools that you use, and specifically the ones you just can't live without.
I think pencil and a piece of paper.
At the end of the day, we live in an age where there's AI. We live in an age where there are all these technological advances. You have an iPad. Do you have an iPad? Or are you still out here
I have
drawing on sketch
everything.
pads? Okay.
I have everything, but it never fails. A pencil and paper does the trick.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use any tool you want to create what you need to create, but just having a paper and a pencil, it all comes back to just tradition.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can use all these tools to do what you need to do, but
Yeah.
I really think you need to know the basics,
Yeah.
and the basics never go wrong.
Yeah.
And you can use all these other tools as resources, but for me, pencil and paper
Yeah.
is the best thing to use.
And I think also just as an admirer and collector, by the way, of your artwork, I
Mhm.
have your artwork is all over the house, and some of your earliest pieces,
Mhm.
which I'm very, very proud of. It was some of we
You're
when we
gonna auction
first
them off?
no, we're not gonna auction them off, but I will tell you, well, not yet. I mean, but I will tell you that when we first bought that house, those were the first pieces we hung were your
I
pieces, and we
appreciate
knew
that.
exactly where they were gonna go. But there's a sense I get always when I'm looking at your work that it is just magical.
Mm,
And the word that comes to mind very often is magical.
mhm,
And it could be the colors, the stroke, the depth of your stroke in certain areas.
mhm.
In the illustrations, it makes it look almost dreamy,
Oh,
right? It
wow.
has this it's so deeply connected with whatever theme they're
Mhm.
representing that it sparks the imagination
Right.
almost instantly.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Is there a project that you've worked on where everything just came together naturally? Everything just synced, everything just flowed,
Mm.
and it was just sort of this natural harmony for you?
Yes. I did a project with, this group called Plantain Papers,
Mm.
and they were actually hired by WeTransfer, and
Oh.
WeTransfer has this platform called We Present,
Mhm, mhm,
and they came with a project and said that they wanted to tell stories from the Caribbean
mhm.
that are like myths, like old wives' tales or
Or like a
whatnot.
Nancy story.
And Nancy
Yes,
Spider,
yes,
and
yes.
so they came to me with that, and she was like, most clients come to me because of my use of color.
Mm.
And she was like, Can you bring this to life? And we really love your color. Can you do this?" And I loved it because I didn't really have to think. It just came out, you know.
Right.
You know, when I get a project from a client, the first thing I do, I read it carefully. I actually didn't know about a Nazi spider. I've heard other
Mm.
stories, but I
Mhm.
never. So I researched
Mhm.
the topic, read it, and I was like, "Okay." And when I'm starting to read it, colors comes out. I started doing thumbnails and, kinda like free-forming,
Yes.
just to get those ideas out, clear out the distractions
Yes.
and explore the possibilities, and the Nancy spider that I came up with was sitting on top of a mountain in Jamaica. And the
Ah.
skyline, instead of it being, regular blue or, black or whatever, it was purple.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
wanted to use all types of tones for purple
Mm.
in this story
Mhm.
because I felt that, yes, Anansi could be, related to children or whatever. But I
Mhm.
also know a lot from my research, a lot of people our age know about the
Oh,
story,
absolutely.
you know?
Anansi is a very, very old legend,
Mhm.
and I think it was born and well, truly derived from Africa. Right?
Yes, it
So
is.
Ghanaian culture specifically has Anansi in there, so it's obviously crossed over
It crossed over
into the
to
Americas.
different
Mhm.
Caribbean countries because it's
Caribbean
everywhere.
Americas,
It's
yeah.
even in Haiti.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
in Barbados.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it actually came from Africa and just flowed through the different
Yes.
Caribbean islands.
Yes. And I think in your art, Cheryl, the richness of it, that magical
Mhm.
aspect that I talked about, a moment ago, it really embodies a lot of that history.
Right.
It
Right.
embodies a lot of the that sort of that spiritual presence, if you will,
Right.
that whatever it is, the theme that you're working on was born from. It's almost like it kinda channels through you,
It
and that's
does.
a really, really difficult thing to convey. So, what are the features or common features, and elements that you use to visually communicate storytelling? You talked about the purple and Anansi sitting on a mountain,
Mm.
which was something that it came to you. It was
Right.
just this concept. You're like, "Oh, why not?" But are there any sort of common features that you find throughout your art that you use to visually communicate storytelling?
Once again, it comes with color. I don't know what it is. For instance, think about the phrase, "I'm feeling blue."
Yes.
When you think about that, first thing you think about is, "I'm depressed.
Yes.
I'm sad."
Mm.
Me, I'm like, "What kind of blue? Are you feeling ocean blue? Calm and reflective?
Mm. Mm.
Are you feeling
Mm.
pale blue?
Mhm.
Soothing?" I think when it comes to that, when I see a piece, when I get a piece, when I get an article or a picture book, it's like the language for me, the elements that come up for me are color, and then everything else follows.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't know why that is, but it's always color with me. And
Mm.
then the other elements come.
So that is the very first thing that you think of
The
when
color.
you get so you connect with a client, they tell you what it is that they're trying to do, what
Mhm.
they'd like the project to be about,
Right.
and immediately you start thinking about the colors as the thing
Yeah.
and build on from there.
If it's an article, I will like highlight different words or phrases
Mm.
from that and see if anything comes out, any words or tells the essence of the story.
Mhm.
And usually that word that comes up for me automatically comes with a color.
Mhm.
And that's
Mm.
how I start to flow.
There have been an evolution in that for you over the years. Has it's always been color,
Mhm.
but talk to me a little bit about when you first started illustrating and having color as that foundational element
Mhm.
and what it was like then versus what it's like now when as it pertains to your process.
Mm.
What has changed and evolved as you've evolved?
I think when I first started out, I think I was more so trying to perfect the actual piece itself, making sure that I was drawing it right,
Mm.
if I was conveying the message
Mhm.
in the right way. But as time went on, that's when I started to find my niche, I guess you
Mhm.
could say,
Mhm.
like my style.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. The style changed
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
When I first started Illustrator, I didn't use faces.
Yeah.
It was just the actual artwork with, the head, the arms, or whatever like that. But I never put expression on their
Mhm.
faces.
That's really fascinating. That's really fascinating. I think something that our listeners would love to know, and I think it just would be very important to share here, is your career trajectory.
Okay.
I'd love for you to tell the story about when you started and how you got to where you are now.
Sure. I think my first illustration project was from Breathe magazine,
Okay.
and they are actually originate. I think it's in England. Yes, it was
Ah,
England, and they reached
okay.
out to me to do a editorial piece,
Mm,
illustration editorial piece, and that was actually the moment that my illustration career started.
mm.
Before that, I was doing design, but this was
Graphic
my
design.
yeah, graphic design.
Mhm, mhm.
And I was doing, like logos, websites, and everything like that. But this was my first illustration job
Nice.
doing a piece for Breed magazine. And
Nice.
that actually, they kept hiring me
Ah,
to do illustrations for their article.
oh, that's fantastic.
And since from there, is when I got a email from New York Times because they saw that piece on social media
Oh my goodness.
and they
Wow.
reached out to me to do a piece for them, actually two pieces. And from there, it just kept going, like Adobe. And then I did over Adobe stock, which I had to do 500 illustrations
Wow.
within 6 months
Wow.
for Adobe stock.
Yeah.
But from there, I started out basically in editorial illustration,
Mhm, mhm,
which I was doing New York Times, like I said, Hewitt Packard,
mhm.
and like different magazines. I can't name them all. But
Yeah.
from there, I got a chance to do a picture book.
Mm,
And since then, that's all I've done is picture books.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which
So,
is absolutely I mean, when I tell you the books that you have done are really and truly, in addition to just being great publications, they're
mhm.
collector's items.
Oh,
They truly are. The latest one you've done is pretty amazing, and I'm gonna talk about it a little bit here because one of our guests to come is actually gonna be Reverend Dr. Jackie Lewis,
right.
who was one of the co-creators of this, the Just Love Bible. This is an amazing publication. Talk a little bit about your process doing that.
Sure. So I was the illustrator for Just Love Story Bible, written by Dr. Reverend Jackie Lewis and Reverend Shannon Daly. It's basically an easier way to convey the story of the Bible to children, but it's a twist. Instead of using the regular characters that you see
Mhm,
in Caucasian, they're brown and black
mhm,
people.
mhm.
So I was hired to create this book, 52 stories, but of course, there's like 4 or 5 illustrations for each story.
How many total illustrations, Carol?
300 illustrations, and it
Oh
took
my
over
goodness.
2 years to create.
And we're talking 300 illustrations in the final,
Right.
not the iterations for each
No.
one of those illustrations.
Right. So how it went about is that first we started with the Old Testament.
Mhm,
And we do batches.
mhm,
So, for instance, like 1 to 5 batches
mhm,
of stories. Within that, of course, I have to do thumbnails and freeforming again, like coming up with ideas.
mhm,
Then I have to do a bunch of sketches
mhm,
for that. Within that process, I send that to the editor, their team, and then they were like, let's see if we can, do something else with this.
Yeah.
So I have to sketch it again. So basically, it might be like 3 or 4 sketches that I do for one story.
Yeah.
And then from there, I have to take it to a draft, a color draft. And that might take 2 or 3 takes
Yeah.
before it actually gets to the final.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of people who are not in the creative industry or not illustrators or designers don't have a sort of a refined understanding of the fact that these iterations are integral to the process. It's the creativity of the artist, it's the creativity of the
Right.
client, it's the vision of the client, and all of those things together. This takes a lot of
It
patience. The
does.
work you do as an illustrator, you have to be patient.
And you have to be able to take feedback
Yeah. Yeah.
because sometimes it is going to be critical,
Yeah.
and you're going to have to just swallow it and go back to the drawing board
Yeah.
and know that it's for your best interest.
It's really interesting because as you talk about your career trajectory, and really, we were talking about the iterations and things like that. The world of illustration is such a niche,
Mhm.
especially now, again, with technology doing all the things that it's doing. What is something about the illustration world that a lot of outsiders may not know
Mm,
that you think is unique to what you do and important?
mm. I think a lot of people think that it's just about drawing. You
Mm,
just, what they would say in basketball, just shoot the basketball or whatever. And it's
right,
more than that. There's a lot of elements that come together when you're illustrating.
right.
Uh, there's a lot of research.
Yeah.
I research a lot.
Mhm,
That
mhm,
is the foundation before everything else follows. You have to think about what palettes is going to tell the story.
mhm.
How is this going to help the audience want to read this article? That's a big responsibility. Like
Yeah,
yes, you could write the story, but when it comes to articles, the first thing that comes to mind is the picture.
yeah.
The picture is going to want to read that
The
story.
thing that draws the reader in. Yeah.
Absolutely. You want, as an illustrator, as a photographer, for anything, that person to turn the page.
Mhm, mhm.
If you're not able to do that, I feel like you're not a visual
Absolutely,
storyteller.
absolutely.
And that's what you have to do. You
Yeah.
have to be all these things, a marketer,
Yes,
a researcher,
yes.
know your audience.
Yeah, and the
Then
audience is such a large,
it's a
demographic.
large demographic.
Yeah.
And in order for someone to read the New York Times, they
Mhm.
have to look at the picture first to say, is this something I want to read?
Yeah.
So if you're not able to visually create something
Mhm.
that draws in the audience, you're not doing your job.
Right on. I think that is a critical piece, and it leads me to another question that I would love to ask you about the challenge.
Mhm.
Because your demographic can be so large and so wide, and you're appealing to so many people and you want it to be successful, then you have the client aspect of things
Right.
and their desire to be successful. Challenges abound.
Mhm.
Talk about one of the biggest challenges you've had in your career.
I think right now with AI, for instance, I am signed with a literacy agency.
Mhm.
And recently, in the last couple of months, they reached out to all the illustrators and the authors and said, do not post your artwork on social media.
Oof.
So that's a big,
Mm.
like, what? Because remember, most of the work I've received
Mhm.
is from editors
Mhm.
and publishers who've seen my work on social media.
Sure.
So now you're telling me not to post because you want us to protect our artwork because they're using our artwork as a way to train their models. What do? You have to adapt. And for me, now it's the old tradition of just networking.
Yes. Yes.
And that's different from when I could just put my artwork on social media and I know someone's gonna see it.
Yes.
But now I have to think about protecting my work to make
Absolutely.
sure that they're not using it to train their
Absolutely.
platform.
Absolutely. And, the thing about and of course, this is one of the, um, core reasons that we wanted you to be a guest on this show is
Mhm.
because it is Uncommon Minds.
Mhm.
Your style is unique to you. Your beginnings, your origin story is unique to you. Where you are now, what you bring to the table in terms of how you engage and thought partner with others is very unique.
Mhm.
We ask every guest a question about being uncommon to really get a sense of, the core authenticity and,
Mhm.
and what you bring not just to your work, but to your
Right.
life
Right.
and how you view the world. So, what's one uncommon belief or idea that shapes how you see the world?
So early in my career, I was very much aware of what my purpose
Mm,
is, and that is to create.
right.
I knew that. I believed it wholeheartedly. But sometimes within that, when I was in relationships, that caused an issue because early in my career, I was struggling
Yeah.
financially. So, of course, that is going to have a damper on your relationship.
Mm.
So, there will be conversations in which maybe you should do something else,
Ah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I really believed in my purpose.
Mm,
It's so interesting. The other day, a friend of mine invited me to his daughter's dedication at his church.
mhm,
And the reverend was actually talking about purpose. And I
mm,
had an aha moment. And she said, when you're struggling, it doesn't mean the assignment is canceled, right? Meaning, no matter what you're going through, if your purpose is to create, which was mine,
right,
you have to follow assignment.
right,
You have to keep going. You have to believe in what you're doing.
right,
Because if you don't believe it, no one else is.
yeah,
And of course, yeah, I struggled, but I am a testament in believing in myself, doing the work, and seeing the rewards from it.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
you gotta believe in yourself.
That's an incredible lesson. That's an incredible lesson. I really wanna thank you for being on the show today. This has been an amazing conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's good to see you again.
Yes,
It's good
yes,
to see
yes.
you again. So before we wrap up, where can listeners and viewers see more of your work and follow what you're doing next?
Well, they can go on my website at Ross Illustration, RAS illustration.com, or social media, Instagram, Blue Sky, at Cheryl Thuesday Illustration.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
very well.
It was great having you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to Uncommon Minds. If today's conversation sparked something for you, share it, tag us on Instagram at Uncommon Minds Pod, and keep exploring what makes you uncommon. This episode of Uncommon Minds was produced and written by me, Shelly Henriquez-Neill, and edited by Raina Wren. In lieu of sponsorship, we are still promoting the support and donations to the post-hurricane relief efforts in Jamaica. Please send your donations to supportjamaica.gov.jm. See you next time.